This is Jack Diesel.
This is Tito Santana, and you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast. Arriba!
Alright, we're not doing a long intro today. Fuck that. Oh, nope. Fuck them.
Oh, repeat Jack Diesel.
Repeat. Yeah, if we just do that for 2 hours, that'll be good. Alright, everybody.
How did you get Tito?
He was at a wrestling show down the street from my house. And that was like, I got that like 2 years ago for another podcast I listened to, so I just took out their name and just, it's mine. I never sent it to them.
So your name is the Wrestling Podcast?
No, we're actually, well, welcome to the Sports Entertainment Shrinks, but Tito Santana didn't need to know that.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually botched.
Very misleading. It's very misleading.
Yeah. He botched the, when we asked him to film that, we went over it like 6 times. I was like, all right, I just need you to say Smart Wrestling Fan Podcast. And he was like, all right, Smart Wrestling Fan? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay. We went over it like 3 or 4 times. Then he films it, and he goes, Smart Wrestling Podcast. And it's the greatest thing ever.
The issue is you were expecting too much of, and damn it, I just said you just need to get him to say Arriba.
Arriba. Yeah, that was a nice touch at the end.
There was a little glistening hope there.
Yeah, glistening hope. So...
Welcome to the Tito Santana Podcast.
This is the Tito Santana Podcast.
WrestleMania 9, or 8,
Dan.
Shawn Michaels. Good match.
Oh, yeah. That's a thing. I always forget that Tito Santana was, like, around.
Yeah, you got to wrestle all of them. I'll let you do your thing.
So, this is, Tim, what episode is this? 4?
This is episode 4 of the Sports Entertainment Shrinks podcast.
Tim, you're the new host. I'm fired.
I am...
Episode 4, a new host.
I am not Dandromeda, I am not Dan Scotty, but I am the esteemed colleague. I am your favourite temporary American representative. This is Tim fucking Lee here. I'm ready to interview the man that we have on the show today. Dan, who do we have on the show today?
Well, we have 3 people on the show today.
3 people? Shit.
I'll introduce one, you introduce the other, and then maybe we'll say...
Double introduce that last one.
Yeah, alright, so this man is a man of many names, I guess. He is a legend in one art form, or one form of our passion, and he's an up-and-comer in the other. This is Vicious Van Vallee.
A.K.A. Marcus Centofante.
A.K.A.
Vicious Van Vallee. How's it going, sir?
What's up? That was a wonderful introduction. You got it in one take. Fuck you, Tito Santana.
Yeah. So, we're here.
How are you?
We've been looking forward to this interview for 2 weeks.
I've been looking forward to it, too.
Well, actually, technically it's only been a week, but according to our listeners, it's been 2 weeks. So
yeah.
Okay, all right.
They don't need to know that. Well, now they do.
You just exposed the business.
Yeah, that's all right. It's taped. It's kayfabe. It's all the work.
Podcast business. Secrets exposed.
It's all the work.
Shit.
So on this weekend, are you wrestling this weekend?
I am not wrestling this weekend.
So you have a weekend off.
I am a married man, and it's Valentine's Day weekend.
Oh,
so
true.
I'm
True
going
it
to
is.
see my wife as much as I can.
There you go. There you go.
Good stuff. Very well played.
That's good. So when is your next show for SWO in Susquehanna, Pennsylvania?
Next show for SWO is February 27th in Seven Valleys. Broken Hearted Brawl. Clever name, Valentine's Day. But I also have a studio taping for SWO Uprising on the 21st. So I guess technically the 21st is my next date.
Okay.
My next show.
Very good. Very nice. So not this Sunday coming, but next Sunday you're doing a studio taping.
Yes, sir.
Very, very well played, sir. So let's just introduce you to the format of what we talk about here. We talk about shit. We talk about wrestling, but this one is a little bit different because we're talking about you, Don. We're talking about your illustrious wrestling career that you've had up until now in such thing as what's profound upon as backyard wrestling. Now, I wanted to ask you, your character is Marcus Centofante. You started off, I believe, as an 80s Marcus Centofante. Is that correct?
The Marcus Centofante name itself was brought in. I had a character called the Gangsta, which is cool.
Okay.
Because gangsters are cool.
Absolutely.
But that name is pretty terrible, so that character went away for a while. This was back in the day when everyone in the Fed had multiple massive gimmicks. That character was gone for a while, and my original name was Donovan Vicious Valley for my main character, and I had him retire, and we brought back the Gangsta, and he was Marcus the Gangsta Centofante, or the Gangsta Marcus Centofante, however it says. But when I got onto the forums and stuff, I was an 80s style wrestler because it was cheesy and fun and a lot of ha-ha and gaga.
Good. I did not know that. That's the more you know.
Yeah, there you go.
So I do my research here, Dan.
Yeah, I that's why you're the new host. I'm just the color commentary.
You're the temporary American representative.
Yeah. I have to make like references to sports the way JBL does. So
you ain't no stealing the gimmick here, boys.
You're the Manchester United of backyard wrestling.
Oh,
I never want to be called that ever again. You hear me?
No,
No, but to Don, is it alright if I call you Don? Is Don the best name for you? Donovan Van?
It is my real name, so I guess it's the best name.
It is.
A lot of people do just refer to you as Don, so I'll go for Don. Anyway, so you have a lot of experience in yarding as well as like booking yard shows and everything, and you've been to what's known as super shows, which is just a gathering of the best backyarders in one single place to create a super show full of essentially dream matches and other such things as well. So I wanted to know what is your favourite super show that you've ever been to? Because I mean, in that sense, I mean, we've been all three of us have been to super shows. We have been involved in backyard wrestling ourselves. But I wanted to know what is the one that you hold dearest to you, and give your reasons why that is as well, please. Anything that really stands out to you as possibly just overall the event was a nice event to be at, whether it had its ups and downs or anything, just anything that stands out.
Backyard Week, is that technically not an answer because that was 3 shows in 1 week?
Yeah, it's a collection. I can take that as an answer.
That works.
Fine, yeah.
But it showed the community's potential of what we could do as a whole. I mean, to organize and get together for a weekend, spend a few days together, do a Wednesday, Thursday show, Friday Hall of Fame ceremony, Saturday the Backyard Fest show. That was so much work to put together, and everyone came through and were there for as many of the shows as possible, and it was just a really mind-blowing experience because it's like getting away for a weekend for one of these things is sometimes hard enough for people, but for everyone to be like, yes, for this means enough to me to take a week out of my life and go spend it with these people who I only see a few times a year, and not only see each other, but also be willing to put the work in necessary to have memorable shows. That was really something. And it will never be done again. People can think it will be done again, but no one in the current community has what it takes to pull that off.
Yeah. Yeah. So you feel that that entire week there was a lot of travel involved, if I remember correctly. So it was all around.
The beginning of it was in Pennsylvania with the XTW guys, so that was Shamokin. Yeah. And then from there we went to Drew's house at Rhode Island, and then the Wednesday, Thursday shows were in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And then the Friday and Saturday Hall of Fame Backyard Fest was either in Massachusetts or somewhere in Rhode Island. But Rhode Island and Massachusetts were pretty close together. And then from there, everyone traveled home.
What year was that?
That was in 2007, 2008.
2008. Huh.
I think 2008. I could be wrong.
That sounds about right. With my
it had people from Australia. Well, one person from Australia. I don't think any of the Brits came. Did any Brits come to Backyard Fest? Tim, you would be the one to know that.
Yeah, I think one of the only Brit that ever came over before me, Sam and myself, was a guy called Denzel who wrestled for a Welsh fed called WCWE.
Yeah, Denzel. Yeah.
He came over. He went over there for Backyard Hotness, I believe it was, because he was at the same show that M-Dog 20 wrestled on for the BYX thing. From what I remember, he was the first one that went over to America. Whereas if you're talking about kind of international things, one of the first things that happened that major things that I thought happened in Backyard Wrestling was when Steve Farrell, Tyrant, Pyro, Denzel, Cruiser Fan, Alex McConnell went over to VCW versus the World in Vancouver in Canada, and that was a huge step, because it kind of proved that no matter how many people view this hobby as dangerous, and you can view it as trash wrestling and everything, it really is just a gathering of friends who all enjoy a sport that we all love. And It doesn't matter. You can see it doesn't matter financially. It's just if I'm willing to go out, and I've said I've done it a couple of times. I've come out to see you guys, and it's been the best moments of my life. And I've told you before, Don, that in a special place in my heart has MYE4. That's the show for me that really did help me mature as a person as well, because I never thought socially I was acceptable, and
let's not get ahead of ourselves. You're not that acceptable socially.
Ooh.
I know I'm not acceptable anymore. You're still a prick. This is the cold-heartedness that comes out of you sometimes, Don. But I mean, like certain things in that sense, it was that whole weekend made me stop doing the thing that I should never think of, that you should never do. And that I said in that sense, super shows are a big thing to me, because all that information and all the experiences you have are amazing. And it doesn't matter. Like I said, it doesn't matter how anyone else uses it.
Super shows almost spoil wrestling for you.
How do you mean that?
Yeah, that's
super shows are so crazy, and everyone cranks it to 11, and they try so hard, and they do stuff that no one in their right mind would do. 9 times out of 10, not even something that someone would get paid to do.
yeah.
So, and then you go to shows like local indie shows or some bigger indie shows, and it's like, yeah, well, that was cool, but where was the shooting star press off the roof? That would have made it crazier.
Oh, God.
Or, that hardcore match was cool, but the dude didn't tape a lobster to his hand and do the clothesline.
Yeah,
He didn't.
It's just kind of, it's kind of like the next level, and it's crazy because it's just for fun.
Yeah, it is just for fun. You think? Yeah.
If you look at it from an outsider's perspective, it's absolutely stupid.
Oh yeah.
You see half the stuff, like the half the stuff I saw at MYE4, I just never expected. Hence why in most of, like I said, when I watch it back, it's just half the shit. I'm like, why the fuck did they do this? But then, if that's what they want to do and that's what they put their bodies through, then I'm entertained. I have memories of it, and it's just something that sticks there with you. So I understand where you're coming from with that, in that sense as well. I mean, what would be? So you've had, how long were you in doing yarding for, Don?
I was doing yarding for a very long time. Back in 1996 was the first time that me, my friend Scott, and Warren were like, hey, let's wrestle around. And we wrestled around. And that's 20 years ago. And it just slowly evolved from there. Like, for a while, it was just wrestling around at recess or, like, at home when someone would come over for sleepovers. Yeah. And then this kid moved from West Virginia to Cooperstown. His name was Alan, and he was a part of a backyard fed. And I think this was in 2001. He was a part of a backyard fed, found out we liked wrestling. We all got to talk, and he came over, and he was the first person to show, like, proper head scissors and, like, things like that, little things. And then we were like, oh, it's kind of a group effort to do this. And then the show Tough Enough came out, and that changed our perspective. Like, we learned a couple things from there. And by 2003, we had a video camera and set up, like, mattresses and, like, entrances. And that's when we started filming weekly shows. And it snowballed out of control from there. So, yeah, 96.
96, man. Jeez. Oh, so that essentially developed into this, 20 years of yarding that you've done. But you seem, like I said, now that you're heading down most routes that backyarders do seem to go to. As we know, there are a lot of backyarders who are now at the top of the level in essentially the professional wrestling industry, and you started out as your character, which is Vicious Van Vallee. So if you could almost try and like give us a background on where...
If you've been paying attention to me talking so far, my original main event guy was Donovan Vicious Vallee. And
It's a
Vicious
callback.
Van Vallee.
I like that. Now that I know that.
So there you go.
That's a shout out to the previous and the past. I was going to say, in respect to your professional wrestling career that you're going through now, so you're doing all this SWO, which is... I can't pronounce the name of the town that it's in, unfortunately. I've looked at it.
Susquehanna Wrestling organization.
So you're based... That's your home fed on there. And how did you find out about this, and how did you get into starting doing professional wrestling? I mean, has it always been a thing? Has it always been a thing, as it has to most people, that, you know, I've done this for so long, I'm having these matches, but I really want to actually start trying to make a career out of this or get somewhere with this? Is that the way you looked at it? In a sense, and how did you progress?
I've always kind of had my foot in the door of independent wrestling. Back in like 2008, I took some gigs. In 2009 or 10 is when Beyond started, and I was a part of their pilot tapings and a few of their early
Donnie
tapings.
Kidd, weren't you?
Yeah, I was Donnie Kidd then.
Yeah.
I think a couple of my matches are still on their YouTube. And so I was taking gigs off and on for a little while there, and I stopped for a while because it was just like it was a lot of travel, and it wasn't as fun. Breaking into the independents is tough, and doing it by yourself or like with one of your friends is a little boring, because again, like I said, super shows spoil wrestling for you. You're not able to watch the matches, and it's a completely different feel, and I don't think I was ready for it. So I stopped traveling to independent booking so that I could still travel and see my friends, because the hangouts outweighed the performance and the passion in that department. And then when I moved down, actually in 2013, I thought I was going to stop and pursue independence in 2014, which is why, if you remember NYE3, I was looking more jacked than I was fat, and it was because I was doing all the work that was necessary. But the issue, I had no one that wanted to try and do it with me, and I don't have a car, so it was just like, whatever, I'll do 2014 in the yard still. And I ended up meeting Sarah at the yard in 2013, and that got a lot more serious than I ever expected it to be. Who would have thought going to a yard show in Allentown would lead to you meeting the love of your life? It's crazy. And so when I ended up moving down here, I was still doing yard stuff, and we went to a local indie fed. We won tickets on Facebook, and we went, and I was like, I'm better than half of the guys on this show. And that made me think maybe I should try and get on these shows. And that wasn't an SWO show. I think it was called Rage Pro, and they might have already gone under. They were terrible. Sandman was advertised. He wasn't there. The coolest thing was...
The boy Sandman.
The boy.
Yeah. Oh. The coolest thing was Ruckus was an unannounced booking. And Robbie E was on the card, which is funny because that comes up later in my little...
Yeah, we'll get to that day.
Oh, we know.
And Sarah knew some of the guys like Greg Axelman and stuff that ran GBW, but they weren't running anymore, so I couldn't get on that. And we went to a yard show that was happening at the SWO Training Center because Wolfman was renting it out to this yard-fed LXW. And I went, and before we did the show, Wolfman said, hey, I run an organization, and if I see anyone that has any potential, I'm going to talk to you guys today. And I was in the very first match, wrestling somebody that gets overlooked in the yard, let alone the pros. And he talked to me. He liked what he saw, talked to me after the match. Me, Sarah, and Jess were the first people he talked to. And that was in April. And by May, for SWO's show, he had called me. He wanted Sarah and Jess in a singles match. And he told me to bring my gear and I would talk to the booker. And I got booked on that show. And we decided to go to the trainings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's slowly but quickly found my way in the inner circle, and I was being billed as one of their top heels.
Yeah.
So I never was like, I just kind of stumbled into it, really. Like, I wasn't ever like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to pursue this. It just kind of, it seemed like the next logical step, because a lot of the people I yarded with aren't doing it as often. So, and it's fun. SWO is fun. It's a good locker room, good group of people. And we have like an area where we can watch the matches and stuff like that. So I still get to kind of have that camaraderie and that fun, but I also get to perform, and this time in front of like fans who are like, fans are so much easier to work than other workers.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a true fact.
You do a snapper, they lose it.
It's a whole different kind of fun. And I think my body, after 20 years of, oh yeah, dude, hit me with these chairs. Oh yeah, dude, throw me off that. Oh yeah, dude, I'll take all these hard, legitimately unsafe strikes. Yeah, let's do that. My body thanks me for going professional. And it's a way for me to still, because I always have the itch to perform and wrestle. And I get to do it now legitimately and in a much safer fashion. And I'm enjoying it.
You get to enjoy it more, and that's the best thing about it.
Yeah. There's a little more longevity to it now.
Not a lot of stress.
I think
I don't have the stress anymore of handling. These guys are flying in from Canada. These guys are flying in from England. These guys are traveling from Kentucky. I don't have to deal with that on a monthly basis anymore.
Well, let's switch gears to that. So, you've booked a super show.
I've booked a few.
What does it take? Like when you said that with all these people flying, what does it take to putting on something special that you think everybody's going to go to and have a good time? Anything specifically that you put or you made sure that you got out of every super show?
Water, unbelievable amounts of water, which was a lifesaver.
You have to, like essentials in terms of drink aside, you have to, before you even announce a show, you have to have a bit of a vision. You have to know that you can pull something off. I was lucky, the first few Interfed shows that I booked, I was lucky enough to where I was piggybacking off of someone that had already booked them. Like with ESW Northeast, Drew, Untouchable, he's the guy that books BYEs, he books Beyond now. And for some reason, when I got into the community, he took me under his wing and like showed me a lot, talked to me a lot. And when ESW branched off into ESW Northeast and ESW PA, he had me be the co-booker for ESW Northeast. So Cooperstown hosted a couple of those shows, but I didn't have to run it completely by myself. He would help me with booking ideas and stuff. And it showed me that you've got to represent all styles of wrestling, even if certain styles aren't your favorite. You just need to have every flavor for everyone, because it's your show, but you need the audience to enjoy it. And you want them to walk out saying, I had a great time. This was well worth the trip.
Absolutely.
After working with him, Cooperstown hosted a couple of WrestleFests for B-Cubed, and he ended up hosting up to 13 of them. And they were more of where Drew would book more professionally almost. He was always running his shows as if he was an independent booker, which is why I'm very happy for all its success, because he's really been doing this for a long time. And it's awesome that Beyond is really the PWG of the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's go ahead.
As I say, that Beyond is like, I remember watching it to start off with, and I was like, they're literally just doing what happens in a yard show, but indoors.
The very first Beyond show was advertised on the forum, the BYW link. It was advertised as BYE 10. So everyone was like, oh, hell yeah, let's go to BYE. And when we got there, we were in the warehouse in Elyria, Ohio. He said they had the Beyond entrance, and he goes, welcome to the Beyond Wrestling's pilot taping. This is what we want to do from here. And he pitched the idea. And we were all like, oh, you mean we get to do what we've been doing, and now we get to fucking do it for an audience out there? hell yeah,
Yeah.
we were all on board. It was
Yeah.
very, very smart.
And that as well as everyone knows who's probably listening to this as well. It's grown tenfold ever since being in. You said a friggin' studio taping in a warehouse in Ohio, and now they're selling out shows and booking these people, and they're having thousands upon thousands of people. They even have their own like on-demand service now, so they're getting really. Drew's phenomenal in that sense. I mean, like I said, passing that knowledge down to you, because I feel like with what I've watched in yarding and what I've watched, like I said, in Super Show wise, you had like BYE, and you had like that was like the one where it transitioned into your Super Show, so it kind of almost drew past the torch onto you. Because this isn't just because I've been to your shows or anything. I feel as if the NYE shows, the Grapgasms, more of the Cooperstown things, you knew what you wanted to do. It felt a lot more like the storylines were great. These are the matches you want to give us, and the atmosphere was better. And when you watch these things like Revival and BYS and like BYX and stuff, it's not on that caliber in the sense. Because I feel like you said, in that sense, you knew what to book. You knew that you had to diversify on what wrestling style, so you knew who to book with who, give this person an opportunity, and also let them work this person so that you get a great match out of it and everything as well. And I just thought, like I said, looking at it, it seems like you've gone far with it, and especially with NYE 5 coming up that you're having is that in York, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, York, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Pennsylvania. What ultimately? This is a good question. NYE 4, you said, and I quote, "This really is the last NYE." But at the end, you put "in this yard." Did you know?
I said in this yard, so I mean I'm half right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you ever plan to have a 5? Was there any ever plans to have a 5 after NYE 4 immediately, or was it just that something came up that made you think I need to run one last show or just another show on there? What went through your head?
Before I answer that question, I want to go back to what working with B Cubed was like, because Drew gave me the professionalism and that vision, and B Cubed gave me the have fun at the show, because after all, that's what it's all about. Like he showed me the not to take it too seriously, that it is all still about fun, and sometimes bookings don't seem so strong, but they will be entertaining to the crowd for different reasons. Maybe someone terrible is wrestling someone amazing, or maybe you just have this silly themed match like Legos or something like that. But B Cubed was a lot of fun. Drew was a lot of seriousness, and I think working with both of them is what helped me make NYE's a lot of serious fun.
Gave you like the perfect balance almost of, mixed fun with seriousness. It could be an aspect of, we need to finish the show by 10 p.m. today, but understand there's beer in the fucking cooler. Essentially, that's the way you'd look at it.
Yeah. And as for NYE 4, I really thought that was it. But you weren't at NYE 3 or 2. I said those were the last ones too. We really constantly thought we were done. I don't know why. But 4, the plan was to be done. Like, we were cleaning up Big John's yard like a week after NYE 4, and that's when I told the guys in Cooperstown that I was planning on moving to Pennsylvania. And I think, like, Ben wanted to be done, and Froggy had already moved to Ohio, and Steve, he has a family, he has his kid. Warren's Warren, he would do whatever. But, like... It just felt like it was time to move on, and Trey moved out to California. And it just seemed like NYE needed to be over. And I don't know when I started thinking about a 5. Sarah and I were planning our wedding, and we wanted to invite everybody we liked from wrestling that we've met. But weddings are super expensive, so she kicked the idea of like holding a get together with just wrestlers outside of the wedding, and I think that kind of became, well, what if maybe we did a show, because after all, it was a show that made us meet each other. And I think that's when NYE 5 was first kicked around. But then we canceled that because it felt like BXW Goodbye deserved to be the last show for the community. And then BXW Goodbye was just not ran properly for it to be a bookend on the community. It was a bookend for BXW because BXW's always kind of been a little mishandled.
Yeah.
So it was a fitting end for them, but like when people were leaving that show, some people were saying, "Don, hold something, please, just so we can get this taste out of our mouth." And I decided, like, I think I announced it like a week or two after BXW is when I sent out the initial invitations. And by design, it was originally going to be just the NYE crew. Tim's gone, so he's not going to hear this. But this is all for you now, Dan.
Perfect.
By design, it was just going to be the NYE crew. Like, if you hadn't been to an NYE, you weren't going to be invited. But I decided that we should include the right people that are still in the community today, because you need to be able to have the proper people to carry the community's torch, because yarding might not ever be what it was, but it's always going to be something special, especially this community of people that have known each other since 2009, and some of them even earlier. And so this was designed so that we can see each other and go out in a blaze of glory. And then after that, if anybody needs a show, I'm going to tell them to go see Dan.
Ah, there you go. Good plug. Good plug. If you need a show. For those who do not know, let's talk about the genesis of NYE. I guess this last we'll talk about NYE. So, like, what was NYE going to be to you, and overall, what did it become for the community?
We co-hosted WrestleFest 10 in 2010 with B Cubed in Cooperstown at Big John's yard. And that yard was so much fun because it was like out of it was closed to any public whatsoever. We were in the middle of nowhere essentially, and just we got to do anything, no limits. And that was the first time that Joe Randa and MX5 came to New York. And in 2011, MX5 said he wanted to come hang out, and so we were going to book a show based around him coming out. That was all we had in mind. And originally we were going to do, when we came up with the New York Extravaganza, or New York Experience or something like that, we were going to call it. We were going to do a day at WZW, a day at BKW, and a day at Big John's yard. And realizing that would be a lot of pointless travel for people, we just decided to do it all at Big John's yard. And then everything else, we didn't expect it to be a huge show. I wanted to do a trios tournament. That was a pain in the ass to pull off. It went from being 16 teams to barely having 8 teams. And then in the first round, BRB broke his ankle, and he was on the team that was supposed to win the whole tournament. So that was fun. And we didn't expect it to be this crazy thing. And like NYE 1, really, when you compare it, it did not live up. But I get, nothing is, the first show of a series is never like, oh my God, this was the best. You got to see the whole series, and like it's cool that NYE started a little smaller and gave us the desire to do something else, because each one got bigger, and until it's become this thing where, like, I've had people tell me they look forward to 2 things in the summer: it's Warped Tour and NYE. And like and that's the vibe I wanted after the first one, when I realized that we were able to tent and camp out and stuff and party all weekend and hold shows. The vibe that I wanted to capture was a festival with wrestling instead of bands. And I really think it kind of captured that feeling.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got from it. That's why I liked it so much. Like, I messaged you after I watched NY4 almost in its completion, like the full matches, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I messaged you like immediately after.
It's so awesome to see, like, the tents all set up, and like people fucking throwing a football back and forth, and then you got assholes on the roof, and you got people just everyone bringing beer down. We really transformed someone's backyard into this giant festival for 3 days, and we still somehow have the energy to not only party for 72 hours, but to hold some of the craziest wrestling in a 3-day time period that you'll get.
Yeah.
I think the setting was crazy because I remember the first thing I saw is that when I came to NY4, we parked up and we walked down the hill, and you just see the view from the top of the hill. It's just a load of gazebos. You've got essentially where the entranceway is, and you could see all that. And there was God knows how many people, like 50, 60 people just surrounding a ring all hanging out. And I remember like the first thing I was thinking, like, I've been speaking to loads of these people for probably between 5 and 7 years online, and finally getting to meet them, I was just a bit surprised. But the thing that made me feel like most humble about it was that when I got down the hill and I was going past everyone, it was just everyone stopped what they were doing and came and talked to me and Sam and kind of introduced themselves. And it was really weird because that's what made me feel different. It was like you never have that at any of the shows over here. It's more just you're right, mate, how's it going? Go on. But everyone was like so welcome and everything. And I think that's what the best thing about it was. You were such a good host in the sense that you knew what you wanted to do, but you also knew how to have fun with it at the same time. And that's what means a lot to me in that sense.
Well, I'm glad you had fun.
I did very much indeed, sir. So moving on from the MYE, moving on from the MYE information. So Warren, you've been best friends with him. Warren's Christopher Edson. How he was there during the start of your essentially yarding and career on there, and you've been to loads of shows together and everything like that. Where did this Warren thing come from? The only reason I wanted to know this is because I feel like a lot of people know about it and they join in, but in the sense they don't know where it originated from, where this started from, and why there is so much essentially false hate and false animosity towards Warren in a sarcastic form. I just wanted to know where it came from, where it originated, and how it got to what it is today, essentially.
Die Warren Die spawned in 2010.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lot younger than people would think, but it's still pretty old. Because I feel like people, they're like, oh, Warren Die, real quick, and just assume it's been with him for forever. But it really only happened the night before WrestleFest 10, because we did a WrestleFest, the prequel show at BKW, which is Zeke and Jed's Fed. And, we were kind of keeping kayfabe a bit. Like, I was ringside watching Warren's match. Warren won. And, he was taunting because he was the New Era champion. And we were having a match for the New Era title at WrestleFest. And he was, celebrating like he did really impressive things. And I said, oh, fuck off. You're not going to win tomorrow. The only thing you have left to do is die, Warren, die. And people jumped on it because they really, you give someone something chantable and they're going to chant it. And you give someone something anti-Warren and they're going to run with that too. And I'm happy it got over because I had come up with the idea of the Die Warren Die shirt earlier that day, and Morgan had made it for me before we left to go to Zeke and Jed's Fed.
Yeah.
So I tested the waters with the Die Warren Die and saw that it did get over. So I was like, okay, I know that I can wear this shirt and that people will like it. And then I gave the shirt to Sick Rick because he went to WrestleFest 10, and he was a big he really enjoyed the yard product, what was going on. So he was a fan before we knew him. So I gave him the shirt, keepsake, and a couple years later in Allentown at one of the WrestleFests, Sick Rick wore it out. He wasn't even wrestling Warren. He just wore the shirt out. And that was how we remembered the shirt. And I think that might have resurged the Die Warren Die stuff. Warren used it as an excuse to take a lot of really dumb bumps that I don't think he wanted to take. And then I think by NYE4, the rooftop incident with the catwalk, the Mick Foley spot. I think that's when Warren realized, hey, maybe I don't need to do this die Warren die stuff. And that would have been a great period to the die Warren die sentence and time period, but he bitched out on it. And so now die Warren die has become people just legitimately being frustrated with Warren. But it really just started with something small.
I did get very frustrated at that spot, and that's like a personal thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Warren, I get along with him, but I kind of joined in on essentially giving him shit. But the thing is, he takes it. He's a good sport about it. That's the main thing about it. If he got offended by it, everyone would have stopped. But the fact that it's got ongoing thing is kind of like a trend that goes on. I just never knew where it originated from. But it's good. It's good to know that now where it's come from.
Now,
actually,
got a leg up on everybody else. That's
We're making the information known to the fans out there, Dan.
Now you're educated. That was the hashtag, right? Now you're educated.
Now you're educated.
There you
hashtag
go.
for this week's episode. Now you're educated.
We'll just call it that. Now you're educated.
We also have to check in on Great. We've already checked in on Great Carly yesterday.
Yeah, we could check in on Great Carly today if we really want.
I think he hasn't tweeted anything since. Last time I checked was this morning, and he still has that picture of him on the car. So
Great Carly is a great dude.
Oh yeah.
His Twitter is a weekly segment.
All right, so here, you know what? I have a couple. I'll pull one up.
Oh.
All right, this is a twofer because I have them screenshotted together. So July 1st, 2013, Great Khali says, "Me and at Yoshitatsu WWE tag team in Japan."
Oh snap! That would be the best tag team.
That would be
the
great. The boys
together. Little and large, or as Yoshitatsu would say, Little and Raj. Great stuff.
And this is another one. This is from June 28th, 2013. This was Khali's prime this summer of 2013.
Yeah.
We read one yesterday, Don, where Michael Jackson asked Khali how to do the Punjabi dance, and he told him he was busy, but he'd teach him one day, and then he never did.
Bearing in mind, this was 4 years after Michael Jackson.
It was like the 4-year anniversary of Michael Jackson's death, and he tweeted that. So he must be pretty hung up. He
contacts dead celebrity spirits. This is how over Khali is in the spiritual world.
Well, he's a great guy, and he's really easy to like. I'm surprised they didn't make him the face of the company.
He was for a bit until he held the title upside down. That was the.
And they're like, all right, this is.
He even had his own match after him. This is what people forget.
Yeah, they really tried.
The weirdest match I've ever seen live was at a SmackDown /ECW taping.
Oh.
It was the dark match main event. So they had the ECW set because this is when they relaunched the brand and they were live. So they had the ECW set, ECW ring, but it was Khali and Big Vis versus The Undertaker.
Oh.
Undertaker wrestled in ECW. This is the thing.
Yeah. It was super funny.
Now you're educated.
Hashtag
boom,
now you're
boom.
educated.
The other tweet from Khali was, this is a good message for all the kids watching. It says, "This is message for kids. Don't use drugs."
Khali.
You just gotta let the kids know.
Yeah,
They're
thank you, Khali.
and you need to stay away from them.
See, yeah, there was a recent article where he's keeping Punjab drug free. He is the Indian CM Punk.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Somebody
Imagine that
Photoshop
gimmick.
him in CM Punk here, please.
Oh God.
I'm the voice of the voiceless.
They had that spot in the 2010 Rumble
Where
Punk was like,
If
"Hey,
corroborate done.
you could be saved." And then Khali
raise your right hand, Brain Chop. Anytime I've wrestled Andrew Schillinglaw, I just imagine wrestling Khali.
We were literally just about to say shout out to Andrew Schillinglaw there.
That is the second time that's happened in less than 24 hours.
One time that I worked him, I walked up to him and I said, "Hey man, what do you do? Because all I got is brain chop spots, and I got like 5 of them, and that's not a whole match."
What do you do? What do you do?
Hey, I saw him take a TKO and a Saito suplex now. So
Yeah, TKO
my
was-
What will his next bump be? Will it be a DDT?
fucking no, his head. He can't do his head. I just like how his arms flail everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like when you get Great Khali on SmackDown versus Raw on a video games console, and you give him that stupid entrance, the one where it's literally just the most unbelievably sassy person that's ever come out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Andrew Shillinglaw lives that gimmick.
Andrew
also-
is way too connected to Great Khali right now. Are we
Yeah.
are we burying Khali or are we hyping Andrew?
I think we're hyping
One of them's
Andrew.
getting the shaft.
We're
We're
hyping
doing
it.
both. It's a cruel circle that's coming along here. It's a cruel irony. The fact that Andrew is brilliant, but Great Khali is terrible. Great Khali is great with
the
his
other way
tweets,
around. Great Khali is brilliant.
and Andrew's terrible.
He's not terrible. He's just kind of a wannabe, and he should be let know.
Oh,
Andrew
controversy.
Wright, wannabe Khali.
Hashtag now you're educated.
Now
Here we
you
go.
beat me to it.
Maybe that should be the next debate. Instead of is Mojo Rawley good, is Mojo Rawley bad? The next debate should be Andrew Wright or Great Khali, and you just interview a bunch of people that support one or hate the other or like them both.
Ooh,
All right.
that's going in the idea log.
I would love to be on Great Khali's side.
As would I.
Oh yeah, we could get BWE's based god Bernardo against. He does not want to put.
Who is that guy?
Hey, I wrestled Bernardo. Calm down. That's a real
Who
thing.
is that guy?
Yeah, he's.
I always forget that you guys, instead of... Did you do that Thursday before NYE, or did you... Yeah, because you must have done that
Thursday
Thursday.
before, yeah. Yeah, we did
Okay,
it Thursday
so
before NYE.
For a second, I just thought you guys did that instead of day 0 of NYE, but then I realized we just got rained out at NYE.
And the match that should have happened never fucking happened. There we go.
It never will happen, either.
It will one day.
It will not, ever.
Leave the memories alone. It will happen.
I'm pretty sure Steve's done after NYE, so it's never going to happen.
Don't tell me this, because I fucking... Honestly, the amount... I cried when Justin said he gave up, and I was like, you know what, that's actually really sad. Justin's wrestling at NYE, so I was like, oh, okay, brilliant. Or Justin's wrestling somewhere, is what I know.
Justin's wrestling at NYE.
Well, there we go. He made me cry for no reason. So when I see the music video come out, that's going to be like, brilliant. Yep, Justin lied to me. A tear was shed for nothing. That cruel
Music
bastard.
video will never come out. No music videos come out, ever.
Hey, NYE4 came out in full. That's a good thing.
Mercury was on point with that. He posted
uploaded-
NYE4 so fucking fast.
Yeah, I've still got that playlist on my computer. I think of all
I
the
guess
matches.
you do something right with a show when somebody that was there makes a channel just dedicated to it so he can upload everything he filmed. But the people need to see this immediately.
He just knew.
He just knew.
He
And
just
that
knew.
helped me out too because we always took our time with the music videos.
And they always came out shit. So.
You're talking
Hey!
you're talking shit about Zeke, you're talking shit about Ian, you're talking shit about Demorris, you're talking shit about Trey.
Let's all have a music.
Oh, Tim, you're gone.
Yeah, that would have been a great joke, but you can't fucking fix your phone.
No, I'm here.
Oh,
Yeah,
Let's-
so
let's have a
before you
music
start
video,
chatting
what?
shit, you should have like a music video match. So essentially, all the people that are like top MV makers
I was
all
thinking
wrestle
about
each other.
that.
Yeah. Whoever loses has to make a music video the entire show.
Oh no! People who would legitimately try to win.
it would just
Exactly.
be a shoot. Yeah, I just want to shoot.
It'd just be a shoot match. It'd be terrible. Oh, I say terrible. It would be amazing. It would just be spots themed around a music video. Essentially, oh no, don't do that. I can't put a flash in there. All that shit. That'd be phenomenal.
Demorris would just set everybody up in the match. Doesn't matter who it is. He'd get all of them up on his shoulders. Hit him with an F5. It's over.
But he'd long it out and be like, camera guy, you need to be round here because otherwise the angle's going to be shit. How am I
Yeah.
going to use that in a fucking music video, you inconsiderate bastard?
That would be so funny. I can't do it now because this will get released to the public, and then if I do it, they're going to be like Don booked based off of a podcast discussion.
Can't help if I think of such good ideas for matches, but they never get
So, Vicious Van Vallee, what's your favorite thing you've done in pro so far?
Yeah.
I got to sleeper suplex a chick last month, and that's how I debuted the bedtime, and it was really awesome. It was a lot of fun because up until now I hadn't really had a finish. Like I've finished a couple people with lariats, I've finished with a Vader bomb.
Cool. Any moonsaults?
No, and no moonsaults. I've in triple threats. I've like someone hits their finisher, and then I shit can that guy and pin the one. I really like to just make the crowd angry, steal victories as much as possible.
Good.
Perfect work, though.
But and they've had this plan for a little while. A few months ago, the booker saw me do a sleeper suplex at training, and he was like, "That's awesome. Just don't use it right now," because they had this plan that the female commissioner character she needs to take some time off. So we did this thing where I won both tag team titles in a ladder match back in August, and they strapped me with someone as my partner, and I would always refuse to like tag them in. I would still carry both belts, always get us disqualified. They had a stipulation where I would need to be the one pinned because I won the ladder match. I have both belts, so I'd walk out on him, let him get pinned, and it would never matter to me. And last month, in a triple threat tag title match, I went to leave. She got in my face. Face team dove onto me and my partner. And at this point, he had stolen a victory from me, so he got one half of the tag titles. So now we were a legitimate tag team defending our belts in a triple threat. So face team, one of the guys dives on us while we were yelling at her. Well, I was yelling at her, and he was trying to get me to be in the ring. Didn't want to lose his belt that he just fought so hard to win. Heel team, Candy Kings, they use Candy Brass Knuckles and hit a bunch of moves to get the tag titles. We slide back into the ring. I'm blaming him. She gets in my face and slaps me. I grabbed her by the hair. He jumped on me. I lariated him. She jumped on my back. I spun her around, gave her the sleeper suplex. She just dead sold it.
Did that get a lot of controversy? Because there's still a lot of thing about women and men. Women and men.
The height of intergender, like the crowd didn't make a noise. They were just completely flabbergasted. And some little kid yelled, "You don't hit a girl," and I screamed, "I just did." And,
oh no!
All the referees came out, and I just stared at her while she was lifeless. Wolfman, who like they acknowledge is the owner of SWO, he came out. Paramedic came in, and I went to leave, and he was like, "Get the hell out of here!" And "You don't belong here." And I said, "I'll do you one better," and went to leave out the front door of the fire hall. Paramedic that was bringing the stretcher in was so like in the moment that he went out of his way to hit me with the stretcher because of what I did. And like I told the people to boo me one more time, and then that's when the boos were like super loud. It was a great moment. I'm interested to see what happens moving forward with this. But that was probably my favorite moment so far.
That is an awesome moment.
That is ridiculous, especially with the fact that it doesn't even matter that they didn't make a noise. Essentially, it was the fact that I felt all eyes on the situation, which is perfect. That's what you want. That's the thing. That's the thing I learned within wrestling as well, is that it doesn't matter if they're silent. It doesn't mean they're not enjoying it. It means they're listening or they're looking at you. So they are focused on you. Yeah. Especially like that just sounds like an amazing thing. And it seems like you're having a lot of fun doing essentially independent wrestling kind of thing. Is there any plans for this year to go anywhere else to try and get your name out there? Is there any other bookings that you may have coming up or anything that you want to announce?
I don't have any other bookings right now. I'm talking to a couple other bookers. I know I'm in good relationship with a couple of feds. I just went on a car trip down to Georgia this last weekend, and that was a crazy little, traveling. And so far, to wrestle professionally. I was like weird because usually I travel that far to like hang out with friends. This was just for essentially a job to go and be a part of work.
Yeah.
But it was, it wasn't exactly. I don't think I'd do it again. To keep, I've been to better run backyard shows.
Oh, okay.
But the stuff I did during the show was the most over thing of the whole show.
Yeah.
So I left knowing I did my job well. I had the crowd on their feet, loud as hell, hating us. Because, like, the whole Uprising crew did stuff together as, like, this heel stable. And, like, a couple promoters were like, there's such a thing as too much heat. No, there isn't. I'm sorry we were making the crowd make noise and none of your boys could.
Oh, sweet burns.
I've been waiting to use that since
Young DeMarco.
I forgot I had that, so
Perfect timing.
Dan, you fucking surprised me. Shit, man. No, it's great that you said Georgia. How far is Georgia? That's quite a far drive to go just for a wrestling.
It was like a 13-hour trip. There was like 8 of us.
Fuck. Sorry for swearing, but Jesus.
no,
That was a show on Saturday, and we were supposed to do a show in Tennessee on the Sunday, and we just decided not to go to the Tennessee one because the Saturday one was so unorganized.
yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
And the Sunday one was booked by the same person overall, but it was a different Fed hosting, so maybe it would have been better. But I like it at that point. You just don't want to risk it.
Yeah, just to make sure.
That makes sense.
But it sounds like you're having fun, which is the main thing. That's what I like to hear about, because it's mainly in the sense that there's a lot of people who try and break into independent wrestling, but then they find out it's not for them, or they think it's going to be this easier, they think it's going to be that. But in the end, it is it's a tough grind just to try and get anywhere at all. But it seems like you fit in snugly to the SWO kind of thing as well, which is great to hear. And it's going from there, and it's just improving and going to see where you can go and where this will take you.
Yeah,
Essentially,
exactly.
especially if you come over to England, you said you don't have to pay for accommodation because I'll put you up. So that's all good.
Okay.
Just to
Pay
make
for a
sure.
flight, maybe.
Oh, that's a bit too much. That's better on my budget at the moment. I'm not gonna
All
lie.
right. Well,
I'm saving. I've got to go to Amsterdam, so that's the main thing. That's the main thing I'm looking forward to at the moment.
Oh, there you go. That'll be fun. When's that?
That is around my birthday, so it's around near the it's around this essentially mid start of April. So I'd say it's like the 5th or 6th. So I'm going out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm going. Like my birthday's the 30th of March, but
Okay.
I have WrestleMania weekend, so I usually have my friends do WrestleMania weekend, and then midweek I'm going to go to Amsterdam, spend a couple of days there, and then just come back. So it
so
should
you're
be.
going to Amsterdam during WrestleMania weekend, and you're not coming to NYE. Why? You told me you couldn't afford it.
Because Amsterdam is a lot less expensive than NYE.
I suppose that makes sense. But
Remember,
also-
it
Yeah.
is. I mean, I would love to come. No, don't get me wrong, but you do have another American. No, not American. American. Fuck.
You got a lot
I
of
think I have a
British
couple
person.
Americans
Too
on
many.
card already.
Got a British guy coming, so that's the best thing about it.
You're gonna go to the red light district when you're in the Amsterdam.
Absolutely.
I hear that's fun.
I'm a single man.
You're a
If
single
I-
man.
I'm a shingle man. Yeah, Sean Connery single.
Okay.
I'm a shingle man. But I said I'll be doing that, so that's good. But this isn't about me. This is about you, Dom. This conversation is about you. We need to
Yeah,
make
but it's
sure.
important to know that you're going to Amsterdam. That's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is fun.
Hell of a trip.
Hell of a trip, mate. It will be, indeed. Smoking legal cigarettes and just drinking and seeing women scantily clad.
Scantily clad.
I just, Sunny might be over there. Tammy Lynn might be over there, so I might be able to meet her. Never know.
Anything's possible.
Why would she be
could
over
be in the window.
Yeah.
She might be in one of the windows.
You never know with her.
Might piss on her or something. That's the way I look at it. Fucking.
This is
Sheesh.
spiraled out of control.
Yeah, she's gone. She's out of this world.
Out of this
I watched. On a side note, I did watch that Pornhub had put up a exclusive 5-minute clip into the her new porno, Sunny Side Up. If you
so
don't know
behind
name
the
of it.
scenes.
Oh no, it's just like a clip. Essentially, it's like a little clip, just a preview of what's going to happen. It literally looks like somebody's mum who's been beat by crystal meth is having sex with a man. It's like when I watched the China porno. I watched it and thought, there's no way that anybody could physically masturbate to this ever.
But you still somehow managed.
I did. That is, whoever the guy was that played Vince did it like a trooper. Especially when Triple H came out and it was just a scrawniest guy you've ever seen with a fake nose. They dedicated, the makeup artist was dedicated to knowing the wrestlers, especially with the fake nose on Triple H.
Oh, they gave him a fake nose. That's amazing.
Yeah. That's one of my favourite moments, like Triple H moments, like Triple H portrayed in a porno.
Let's review that one day.
Yeah, we need to review that and the lyrics that Lemmy sings at his entrance at WrestleMania.
Motorhead.
It's all about the game, and I am the game. I love the game, and I am the game. Triple H just doesn't understand. Lemmy's drunk off his face in front of about 60,000 people. It's phenomenal stuff. So they said you're happy with your professional career.
Yeah, you wrestled Robbie E.
I did.
Yeah. Woo! Jesus. How was it wrestling him? Did you learn anything from him? Did you feel like that was kind of a thing, like, this is a stepping stone. This is where I want to be, like wrestling people like this. Is that anything that was?
It felt cool to know that the company trusted me to wrestle someone like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was too much. It was a learning experience in how to do next to nothing and still be over with the crowd. That was an interesting thing to learn. I don't really refer to it as a match so much as that was an entertainment segment. We did the dance off. We barely did any wrestling, but the crowd was still
they were
really into it for the most part.
Uber into it. I saw it. Yeah, they're big fans.
So, I learned a completely different style, and that's what I'm trying to do. I want to learn as many styles as possible so that I can take any booking that a company sees me as a fit for. And after that match, that booker said that when we bring in names, we'll know that we can trust you with it, and we'll see where we go from there.
That's good, man. Yeah. Especially since you got that they've got that faith in you as well.
Yeah, Robbie E of TNA fame.
TNA, God, we've had.
He thought we had met before.
Oh,
we had not.
Do tell.
I was wearing the Beyond hoodie, and he was like, "Beyond, nice, they're big." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I used to work with them back in the day." And he was like, "Oh, do we know each other? Have we met? Because I'd feel bad if I shook your hand and said nice to meet you." And I was like, "No, dude, you're good." And he was like, "All right, sweet."
Fun stuff.
Fun stuff, indeed. That's what good.
What is your favourite ever encounter with a big professional wrestler, Dom? This is a good question that not a lot of people have an answer to. Have you ever had an encounter with a professional wrestler that is a story that you've told? So essentially, it could be like, well, here we go.
In 2005, me, Stephen Warren, went to ROH. We brought autograph books because obviously we wanted to get autographs. Samoa Joe was signing some, and I said to Samoa Joe, "Hey man, you're as a big wrestler, you're an inspiration to me. I'm thinking about trying to train and get into it." And he looked me up and down because I was fat back then. I'm still fat now. Fat life for life. He looked me up and down and was like, "Good luck, fatty." And I was like, "Motherfucker, look at yourself." And I'm happy for all his success, but goddamn, that dude needs to know that he is ridiculous.
Okay, at least brutal encounter there. I thought I'd risk it when I met Jeff Hardy because I went to an Impact taping when I was over in Orlando, and there was a woman coming round, and this is when I used to really detest Jeff Hardy in the fact that he was I used to be really anti-drugs and everything like that as well, but now with Jeff Hardy, there was a woman coming around saying, "Oh, it's $20 and you can get a picture with Jeff Hardy at the end of the show," and I was like, "Oh, I'll have a go at this." So I was waiting in line. The show had just ended, and Jeff Hardy's there. I go up to Jeff Hardy, and the first thing I say is, "Hey Jeff, I know you probably hear it all the time, but it's a big time fan. I'm really glad you're off the drugs." And he just looked at me and said, "Hey, thanks, man. You know, drugs are good, but just don't do them." And then we took a photo together, and that was it.
Wow.
So it was like Jeff Hardy to... I'm trying to remember when I went. Jeff Hardy to a 18-year-old me told me that drugs are good, but don't do them. That's a quote. In front of kids and families.
Wow.
So, TNA people, they let you do anything. If heroin addiction, you'll be in a Monsters Ball match. It'd be no problems at all.
Drugs are good. Just don't do
out
them.
last night that how many Monsters Ball matches have there been? Did you say there's been 45?
45. And I think they taped the 46th one.
That's like the most over-the-top gimmick match that's still been going on a regular basis.
Well, it's just an easy gimmick to cover up, saying, "Oh, we got another street fight."
Certainly, it's just
Fun.
TNA. I haven't watched TNA. I got introduced back to it last night via Dan.
Oh, you. Oh no. What
I
happened?
literally thought Scott Steiner was about to enter my living room then. Jesus Christ.
Fun fact about the interacting with wrestlers. My favorite has to do with Tito, where later in his match, I had found out it was his birthday that he was wrestling, and he comes out and nobody's popping for him, and I start a happy birthday chant, and he gives me the thumbs up, and then the whole match, every time I yell something out smart, Tito's like got the guy in a headlock and he gives me a thumbs up, and I was like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Because Tito's having a match
Tito
for
worked
me.
the match for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my biggest fan. Arriba.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Don't ask him to plug a podcast.
No, don't.
Did he take any sort of like hits to the head that caused it to happen?
No, that match was very slow. I mean, he was like 50 when he wrestled it, so it was slow. Not a lot of wrestling actually happened. The other guy was just getting a lot of heat, and Tito was like, "Oh no, you don't roll him up."
Was there any snapmares that were performed?
Oh, probably.
Oh, damn.
Probably.
Dan, you need to pay attention to that move. It is still the move.
No, you've made it my favorite move.
I've made it a lot of
That's
people.
a good move.
Thank you. Someone fucking
The Snapmare on Elm Street coming soon.
This is what a lot of people ask. They're like, why do you keep saying about snapmares? I was like, why would you not do a snapmare? There's like, it's just a move. It's just such a good move. And
You can go anywhere.
be-
from that.
Yeah, you can do anything with it.
Thank you. You two have been, fuck, where have you been?
A revelation. Tim,
Don was saying about super shows as well, is that you don't get, like, marking out for stuff is so much better than just sitting in a chair. I find it's better than sitting in a chair at an event or anything like that. Because I went to see like an independent show recently, and I feel like I can't really bring as much as I want to at a regular indie show as what I could at a backyard show.
yeah,
Do you get where I'm
run
coming
around,
from?
hit the ring type thing.
Oh yeah, running around, because like the thing is, you'll notice there's certain people there's certain things I watch in the match. Like you'll see a move and you'll be like, what the fuck just happened? But then you pay attention to also the people that are marking out. Like I know Ian just fucking decides to do a lap. I've never seen somebody do that until I saw Ian. And then there's one that I saw because I watched back New Era Bangers and Smash the other day, and it was free. It was Andrew, great Shillinglaw himself, running around the ring, flailing his gangly arms.
Oh man,
All
that must
around.
have looked like someone set up a wacky waving inflatable.
Inflatable arm flailing
on a
too,
Segway.
man.
Our podcast very own.
Yeah, the original gangster Andrew.
Oh,
I've also
I
met.
passed on the gangster gimmick to Andrew Schilling.
Oh my god.
I came out in the do-rag and everything, so Andrew's got it now.
I've also announced that this year I plan to book. I plan to do a show somewhere where I can book New Jack.
You're gonna book New Jack?
I'm going to book New Jack somewhere.
do it.
I have plans in wrestling that are just completely impossible, but they will be done. One of them is I need to marry Kimberly as soon as possible.
Yeah. We're gonna work on that for you.
That is already in motion. I've told CJ, who actually is good friends with Kimberly, to let her know that I adore her very being, and that I will officially pay for a plane ticket just to come over and get married.
Is
Very
he
dedicated.
good friends with her, or does he, as he said, he's good friends with her?
He said he's good friends with her.
Have you seen proof that they're good friends?
I know there's proof.
There has to be.
I'm gonna marry her, and that's the main thing about it.
That wasn't me. Whose air horn was that?
Oh, it's
Oh,
me.
okay.
I didn't.
There we go.
Oh.
Somebody drop a hot diss. All right.
I don't know who to diss.
I don't know who to diss either. Also, I was trying to come up with recently. I was trying to come up with ads that I would do but I don't know what I would do.
You've got to make them relatable, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could make it contraception. So essentially, you could do an advert for like the pill, as in birth control, as in, do you want 3 of these? And you pull out the Kubishes, and then you just say you don't.
You got the Kubishes in all my spots this year.
Not the Kubishes, and then you just
You're
like
obsessed
literally
with the Kubishes.
do love them.
I do love the Kubishes.
You're a Kubish fan.
In the yard, out of the yard, they're probably my among my favorites from the Grapgasms when I watched them. And then I found out they were related, and I was like, oh, that's fucking cool.
It wasn't obvious?
Well, I knew Jed and Zeke were related. And then
Warren knew Jed and Zeke for a couple years before he realized they were brothers.
Oh my god!
And then he yelled, "Don, did you know these guys were brothers?" And the whole yard was like, "Yeah, you dipshit."
Are those 2 brothers? One of the things I remember Warren saying as well is I had that match with Drake Brayler at NYE4, and I remember I think I'd headbutted Drake, and I took my top off. Oh no, I'd kicked him in the head. We were doing headbutts, and then I kicked him in the head, and I got up and I took my shirt off, and I had a Grateful Dead t-shirt or vest underneath. 3 people shouted Grateful Dead. The first thing I hear come out of Warren's mouth is that a Will Ospreay shirt? What the fuck? I was like, it's Grateful Dead logo. Where is it? Warren? Shit, man. It's some of this.
Shit?
Where's he from? He's very obsessed with his hometown, is what I know. I say hometown. Well, a lot of the stuff I see is he went to a rugby thing in we should do it. Actually, wait. I'm going to just access Warren's Facebook and read off some of the quality banter that he puts on here, just to see if he's put anything good. Oh, 10th of February 2014. Warren Christopher Edson. James Ronaldo Moon and I are on the last train to Gropesville.
I have anything that happens in Cooperstown after I moved, I hold no responsibility for and cannot answer. I don't know.
Did you live in Cooperstown in 2014?
I did, actually.
This status was from 2014, so you're not out of the woods yet. On that.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I wasn't there, because I feel like I would have been tagged in it. Unless James and Warren were just on another level that night.
He also put, where is it? I just literally scrolled past it. He also put up shared a news article of Leslie Nielsen dying, which happened 5 years ago, but he decided to post it this year and say, "Oh God, we've lost such a legend." Like it just happened now.
Did anybody comment "Hey man, that fucking happened a while ago"?
Yeah, and he just put, "Oh, lol." There's so many on here that I might just start scrolling through this every week then, just see how much further back yeah, why Warren? Why?
Why Warren? Why? There you go.
Why Warren? Why?
Why Warren?
Most of it's Steelers stuff at the moment, so I'm just going to try.
Always Steelers stuff.
He loves the Steelers. That's the main thing.
15 weeks of Steelers stuff.
Fucking hell, I need to get past this phase. Jesus, it's already annoying me. 9th of December 2015 at 8:39 p.m. I think it's time I stop being a little pussy and start wrestling again. Brock, no, but do tell.
Good
What
one.
other ones? Jonah Block puts, can you wrestle and still be a pussy?
Oh, yeah. That's,
Yeah.
that's all he did.
I commented, come on Omegle so I can skip you, damn it. And he said he's got... Don, you put, do I care about it or did I pay a doctor to retire him so I didn't have to feel bad about not booking him and stuff? Wait, I care. I definitely care. Ignore the other one. Fucking hell. Weird knowing that you have friends now who are actually in the biggest wrestling company in the world. Me and Levesque, we know each other on a last name basis. I go past shows and he's like, "Yo, Lee!" It's like, "Ho ho, Levesque." How's Steffi Oxenfree? She's doing well.
That's what you call her?
Yeah, that's what I call her, man. I spank her on the arse like John Cena did on that 2003 SmackDown taping, and he accepts it. He's cool.
Oh, okay.
He's cool with it. I wish that was the truth. Jesus Christ, Stephanie McMahon. God.
All right.
So Don, Van,
Yeah.
Marcus, it's been wonderful having you on this show. It's been a nice catch up. I would like to see you. Obviously, not this year, but next year if I can. I'll try and see if I can come out there or something. But it's been wonderful interviewing you and learning into your yarding career and now where you're going to go. I wish you the best of luck on where you go in the independents, and I hope you and Sarah are very happy. It's nice to know that you met the love of your life doing this as well, and it's kind of like a nice little silver lining to a double-edged sword in the sense of wrestling being a dangerous sport. But you found the person that you love, and that's what we love here on the Sports Entertainment Shrink podcast. Motherfuckers, if you don't listen to this,
Arriba.
this shit is about to go down. I've been Tim fucking Lee. He's been Dan Scotty, and this has been Marcus Centofante, Donovan Valley, and Vicious Van Vallee. And we'll see you next time on this Sports Entertainment podcast.
Any final words? You got anything?
I'm at a loss for words.
You're at
That
a
was
loss
such a
for words
great
after that.
wrap up. I feel like I'm polluting it at this point. Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh,
I would love to
anytime.
do it
We'll have
again.
you back.
I feel like we could talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, we'll have you
This
back.
is part one,
Fairly
people.
sure.
This is part
This
one.
is now just part one of the
Oh, okay.
illustrious career of fucking Donovan, and we're gonna milk the shit out of this boy. That's what we're gonna do. Don's gonna
fine.
come back on here at another date. He's going to see Deadpool. He's gonna have fun. But people, it's been lovely to listen to you, and we'll see you next time. What are we doing next time, Dan? Let's give a
we
bit of
gotta
hype.
come up with. We gotta let's. Is next week Fastlane? Like next Sunday's gonna be Fastlane. We'll make our Fastlane predictions next week.
Ooh, I like it.
And we'll discuss the road to WrestleMania star.
And we'll discuss more things to do with what we want in wrestling.
Hopefully
Ladies and
nobody
gentlemen,
retires, so we don't have to talk about that.
yeah, we've already discussed Daniel Bryan. We don't need to leave the memories alone. You piece. Oh.
Goodbye, everybody.